not called a young boy day. And you know, everybody knows in this country, it's anti-Christ, it's anti-Christian, but as well as that, it's nonsense. It's absolutely ludicrous. It's insane that a teacher would have to call a young boy day. And everybody in this country knows that well. And this is happening in our schools. It's not just in this school where I teach.
Every school.
It's in every school in the country. It's a silent terror behind the classroom door. Ireland's being changed.
Satanism.
Against the will of the people, against the Constitution. We have an inalienable right in this country to freedom of conscience and the free profession of practice. And that means your religion, what you believe in, you have a right to that. I'm a person of conscience. You know, we've seen the judges in this country. You know, it seems they don't have a conscience. They can tell lies. They can tell lies about why they're releasing me yesterday. They can tell lies about why they put me in the first place. I have a conscience.
Yes.
And I'm grateful for anyone in this country who does have a conscience.
Right.
And I have a right to practice that because it's a good thing. And it's the health of the country and it's the health of society. But what we have here today is a disgrace. It's a disgrace that I'm being blocked here from entering my place of work by this man. And it was well known that this would happen by the judge. It was well known by the judge that this would happen. It was absolutely well known. And I would say to the media,
there's a teacher trying to get in here.
I come here to do my work. I'm trying to get in here, yes. I'm coming here to do my work. The media have a role to do. And I keep a distance from the media. I've always respected media and the role of media in the country. You know, I'm the history of media is a wonderful history. Thomas Jefferson once said that he'd rather have a country without a government than a country without media, because your job is to educate the public, and he knew that, the value of educating the public on the truth. But from the first day here, you know, the media have not held the government to account. They've not held the judges to account. They have not held them to account. I was subjected to a stage 4 report here. A stage 4, that's for the worst possible crimes. You know, theft, harassment, damage to property. That's what I was subjected to, all because I wouldn't accept trans. That was illegal. You know, you cannot subject somebody to that kind of a disciplinary process. And that was wrong. It was manifestly wrong. And that has not been trashed out and dealt with and investigated properly by you, the media, who are supposed to hold the government to account, and our judges in this country
all these done
to account. And you can look at, excuse me, you can look at the order here. It says that it is appearing to the court that it is in the interest of justice to afford Burke an opportunity to focus and prepare for the said application. That is ludicrous. That is ridiculous. This man is on €250,000. That's 5 times the average industrial wage. It's 10 times the minimum wage, probably. And his job is to exalt the Constitution and to defend the rights, to vindicate the rights of the citizens when they come before the court. And they're not simply being held to account. They're not being held to account. I'm doing my duty here today this morning. I'm coming to my workplace where I work. But there is a rule of the media to hold the power brokers in society to account. And I would encourage the media to fulfill that rule. I have a duty to perform here this morning. That's why I'm here. I'm here at my workplace.
None of the media could be
Well, I've been in and out now. When this matter first came to court, it was the Board of Management that brought me to court, not the other way around. I had no intention, I had no desire of going to court. And when I came to the court, the judge acquiesced and said it wasn't about transgenderism. It was about the way I did it, which has been proven false now by the Court of Appeal. So the first time, that's why I was put in prison the first time. And since then, it's a carnival going in and out. As I said, it's an insult to the institutions of the state. So we have institutions, we have the courts, we have the prison service in the back of that. We have the guards, This is an insult now from beginning to end to the institutions of our state, and it's becoming increasingly clear. The DAF a shambles, a shambles, natural justice thrown out the door, a cover up. So this is an insult from again. So asking me about, I think the public are quite clear now on exactly what the issue is here. I said no, can't do that, and it's wrong that around this country, men and women and boys and girls are afraid to say no. I just don't agree that a boy can become a girl or a they or something else. I just don't believe that.
Right.
That's wrong.
That's wrong. Many of the driving conditions inside Mountjoy offer like for you.
Look, prison is a morbid,
Horrible place.
regime. That's what it is. I think the conditions of prison are well known. I'm behind the door for 20 hours a day. Suddenly today, no, I'm not, and we don't have a clear reason why. But I think we move on. I would encourage people simply not to believe this judge when he says it's for this or that reason. That's not true. It's because the DAP was a shambles, and that's clear now. And it's an attempt to simply distract from that.
What about your appeal against the dismissal?
Well, as I said, it's a shambles. It's a shambles. It's an absolute shambles. The three people who are there protecting Principal Niamh McShane, I'm not allowed to ask her any questions. I mean, I've never heard of a situation like that where you'd have some kind of hearing or court hearing where you simply weren't allowed to ask Principal Niamh McShane any questions. And the reason for that is a new rationale start trying to make out new reasons for why I was supposed to be suspended at the start. And the reason for all that is because they can't talk about the reason, which is that it was because of transgenderism. And it's simply an attempt to distract from that. But it's terrible that, and I'm conscious in these situations, it's not just me. There are loads of other people around the country who have to go through different tribunals, different processes of investigation. And it's wrong that the person who's looking for justice would have to suddenly become some kind of, be investigating the investigators. That's terrible. In a country like ours, a democratic country, you should be going in confident, reasonably confident that the natural rules, the basic procedures will be upheld. You'll be allowed to ask questions. Lies won't be told at the start about the investigation, and that the decision makers will be unbiased. That should be a given.
Thank you very much for everything you've done, Ian. Fantastic work, right? And the whole country's behind you, as far as I can make out. The people that are speaking out are being silenced by the mainstream media.
I have a work to do, so if you just let me go into my workplace here, I have a job.
Why are you standing so close anyway? You're not what?
No, I am. This is my workplace, and it's wrong what you're doing. That is wrong what you're doing. It's unlawful. No, it's not my opinion. I'm entitled to my rights.
We're not allowed it.
I'm entitled to my rights.
We're not allowed it.
And what you are doing is
It's
wrong.
illegal.
It is wrong what you're doing. It's wrong. But you're blocking me. I should be in my classroom this morning teaching the students in their German and history. That's what I should be doing. You know that. And you're responsible as well.
People are with
You're
you.
responsible for that.
People are with
Georgie, having to boycott when she goes to Georgie, but so that man wearing a jacket representing when she goes to Georgie.
Thank you. I'm conscious. This is my school and my workplace, and
I'm not ready.
I don't want there to be I don't, so that I'm not held responsible for an obstruction. I would ask people, it's not helpful when people are on private property. The school is private property, and I don't want to be held responsible for that. So I'll just ask people, thank you very much. Perhaps if parents are trying to enter an exit, that wouldn't be hindered. I shouldn't be hindered here today from entering my workplace. I have a full right to be here. And that's simply why I'm here this morning, as I have been every day since 2018 when I was employed here, to uphold the ethos of the school.
do you feel that the mainstream media misrepresented your case here?
I've spoken about the media and the role of the media. And I'm a teacher. I have a duty in the school. I know my duty.
The courts are meeting today to assess what we done if you do go onto the school grounds today. Here, I think you will be sent back.
It's ridiculous, isn't it? Isn't that ridiculous, though? Didn't I make it clear yesterday when I spoke from within Mountjoy Prison that I was a personal principal and I had my convictions,
made that clear to the judge, Judge Cregan. So he knew well where I'd be this morning. He knew well.
And what decision do you think they'll come to today?
I'm not. I have a business. I have work to do here. I just get on with my work and my role. But I do think the people of the nation shouldn't be deceived by judges. This man is on a huge salary, and he has one role to do. His job isn't as complicated as a lot of people's. His job is to administer justice and to uphold the Constitution and the laws. And if he had done that on the very first day, I wouldn't be here. Because this is very simply about really it's anti-Christian instructing me to tell a child something that I don't believe is true anyway, and it's ridiculous. But it's also unchristian. You know, I have my Christian belief that God made them male and female. I'm entitled to that. It's a well-established Christian belief. It's a long history. It's common sense. And it's wrong for somebody like me in a position of responsibility, a teacher, to be lying to a child. But as I said, going back to Judge Cregan, that's what he should be concerned with, simply upholding the law. So maybe he'll do that today, but I very much doubt it. I think he's working with the DAF now, as you can see. You saw yesterday he was instructing them about how they should order their affidavits. That's very unusual. I don't think that's the role of a judge in the adversarial system that we have here in Ireland. He was instructing them about who should write affidavits and which person should write it. And I think that's astounding that he would be instructing a counsel to that effect. I don't think that's his role at all. But that seems to be the role he has taken on himself, instead of simply saying Mr. Burke is right and right from the very first day, and we, the courts, have done wrong, and acknowledge that.
And you were released on the condition that you would prepare for your appeal against DAF. How is that appeal going? How are your preparations going?
Well, again, I don't accept the supposition there that I was released for that reason. I think it's clear now what happened at the DAF. We had, there was a hearing. The hearing's over. That's what Mr. Sean Alongoin, the barrister who was at that hearing, who was the chairperson, said. He said it's over. The hearing is now over. It was a hearing without cross-examination, without no proper cross-examination. I wasn't allowed to look at Principal Lee McShane. No questions allowed to be asked. No closing statements. It ended abruptly, and it ended abruptly when I began to ask questions about the report and about her. I would say untruths by Principal Lee McShane at the start about a meeting that she said she had with the child's parents, which didn't. There was no meeting by Principal Lee McShane with these parents. This is a very serious issue. It's been raised before in a lesser level in the courts. So when all of these things happened, they jumped up and said, no, we're ending the hearing. So clearly Principal Lee McShane is being protected from answering questions. And there's an attempt by the board to introduce a new rationale to say, oh, it was because of this issue or that issue or something else that was never in the report. And that effort was a document sent to us 3 days before the hearing. And that effort was, it was countenanced by the panel. They took it, they looked at it, it hung like a spectre over the hearing, and it influenced the panel, I believe, and these were a whole host of new allegations that I'd never heard of before, and are untrue. There's no basis for them. And that's the DAP that I had. So I think a child can say you wouldn't need to do too much preparation for a hearing like that in the High Court as to whether you should get an injunction, as to whether it should be stopped. So that's a lot of preparation's been done.
Do you envision you will be in and out prison for the foreseeable future?
Well, I have a job here. The students in here know me and they know my personal character. And that's my vision, is that I would be a good teacher to them and a person of character. The school motto here is words, deeds, not words, red, not verbatim. That motto inspired me when I came to Wilson Hospital School, that I'd be a person simply who would do what is right. And I have done my utmost to do that and to be a good model, I suppose, to the students that I'm responsible for. So that's my vision.
You're a good leader for this country, man. Yeah. This country needs someone like you.
Have you been in contact with anyone in the school recently? Do you have much support in the school?
Like I said, I think all I want to say today, and thank you for your question.
Do you anticipate being arrested?
well, as I said, I think it's an insult to our institutions to what's happening, and you know, I believe in a civic society. I believe in a democratic society. There are certain institutions in society, like I said, there are the courts, there's the government, the executive, and there's the legislature. They should all be kept separate. Now we see a great confluence between all three of them. Mr. Justice Cregan really backing up the government. You know, it's whatever they say, whatever policy they might have, whether or not it accords, you know, it could be sacrilegious to the Constitution, but he's just going to back them up. And so this is what we've seen from the judges at the start. So I think, look, this business about going arresting and the prison service being brought to their knees really by people being in one day and out the next, it's ridiculous, and it's inimical to the proper running of the state as well as the administration of justice, I would say.
Do you believe you'll ever teach at the school again?
I'm employed here. I work here. Thank you.
Can you give us your thoughts on
I was brought up, I was well educated by my parents, thank God, and I'm grateful for them. And you know, we went through all the hoops of becoming a teacher and worked hard and was appreciated by my students. So I think we leave that question maybe.
You know, just on the fanaticism of transgenders, why do you think the establishment are so hell bent on pushing it out there?
Satanists.
Well, thank you very much. It's anti-Christian, isn't it? And we have our freedom of religion, and it's a strike against that, which is very wrong. But thank you very much.
Thank
you.
The media never printed lawyers, the principal. Remember, the principal lawyer was in your court case. Anyone listening here, the principal lawyer said that she had to be carried out of school for being misbehaviour, but she never mentioned that she was using the aid of a walker. Remember them lawyers? I remember everything. I heard everything. The case was littered full of lawyers. The man was stitched up to no end. He was terrible what happened. No justice in this country.
You know, you're going to prevail. Keep the faith.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you, Sean.
Well done, Ian. The whole country's been well done.
Like you said, folks, it's anti-Christian. It's satanic, demonic. What they're doing to children in schools, and there's the man, the main man in this country that's standing up, standing by his principles. He's got the utmost respect.
Of respect and education.